Screenlately, welcoming to the show right now, we have all the way from Miami, in fact, a new friend. I'm so proud to be a friend, but he's such a talented artist, actor, creative. I want to jump right into it. Screenlately, please make him welcome. It's Bertrand E Boyd. Hi, Bertrand.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm really good. So you're in sunny Miami. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, sunny Miami for the most part, but it's not sunny today because we have a storm that is brewing like on the outskirts. So it's been raining all day.
Okay, okay. So,
Uh,
listen, Bertrand, jump into it. Like, talk to me about your early days. You know, how did you get into the arts? What was the sort of entry point?
my guy, I've always been like really intrigued with writing, but I was an athlete. You know, I always played baseball and football. That was my passion. I always I thought I was to be a major league baseball player for a long time, but I was always intrigued with writing. So I just wrote a little bit, but it wasn't nothing, nothing really serious, nothing that I took, you know, too serious to where I was gonna make a career out of it. If anything, I was just writing poetry. That's how I got into the arts. Anything I was writing spoken, I was just performing. But I was introduced. A teacher introduced me. A teacher named Miss Blue, Tawana Blue, introduced me to a guy named Will. And Will, who I met when I was 17, kind of just took me under his wing. Like I really was like, he was like my idol, man. I was really intrigued by him in the art form once I met him. And for a long time, he was all I knew. I did a lot of writing, a lot of performing, a lot of traveling with him. Like my first feature was in Turks and Caicos, and I was like 18 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was like, before you even really needed a passport to go to everywhere, I was just able to show my birth certificate and go. That's how long ago it was. But it was kind of in that world is where I kind of started getting into the whole writing and the performances and things of that nature. And then I'm meeting people, and it was something I fell in love with. And Will was kind of just guiding me along the way. As I was, going through the process or whatnot. He was actually killed back in 2011.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was with him that night. It was at a poetry show. It's as funny as the weirdest thing ever. So It was like, yeah. So I do. He's like my motivation behind a lot of my everything that I do right now. He was already like something that I had put on a pedestal, but now it's even more. It's more important to me to really just keep going and just keep my head on straight.
Yeah, kind of like representing him through your greatness. Whatever you achieve, you want to kind of give that glory back to him,
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I'm sorry, that's wow. I wasn't expecting you to say that. I was kind of hoping you were going to be like, yeah, and he's still here, and he feels like my father figure now, and he's proud of me.
Like, so it's crazy. So like, I have a tattoo right here says "I will," and like,
wow.
Not even by it's weirdly by it's probably like by design, because now every time I'm filming and I do something, like I never realized like my tattoo is like very bold, like in everything. It's just his name is like it's just very bold. So I was like, yeah, he's still with me. But yeah, it was, I always just I'm very, very conscious of, the things that he, instilled in me for the time I had him, in my life. So yeah, I'm very I was a former teacher. I used to be in the classroom or whatnot. Like, I really was in the classroom. Like, you walk into a classroom, you just see me as is.
The t-shirt. I love your fro. Yeah.
I never dressed up. I always was just really casual, just me. And it was interesting because then I worked with elementary kids and elementary school students and middle and high. So to interact with parents was always it was always entertaining because I never looked like or be like, damn, that's a teacher. Like, yeah, it's really the teacher. It's not the student. And just not one playing game on you. Like, it's really my teacher, mom. But it works. So I've been around a long time, and you know, in my world, I've been around a long time. I've done a lot of traveling, a lot of performings, and
What's your favorite place that you've ever performed and traveled?
favorite. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Most memorable, like that comes to mind when you think of your.
Well, you know what, the most memorable, I will say the most memorable was probably when I was in Abu Dhabi. I had a show out there at I have a friend that's a doctor out there, a professor, um, Paul D, and he invited me out. So he's a professor at NYU Abu Dhabi, and they have this monthly event that he was hosting, and he would bring poets, you know, whoever could afford to come out or whatever the case may be, would come out and perform. And that was probably the most memorable because of just the culture in itself, just being in that atmosphere. And I had never been that far, you know, I had never been to the Middle East until, you know, that time. So that was an experience in itself. So to perform there, and that was great because the food was amazing. Oh my God, Jesus. Oh, food was amazing. I love food. Like, I'm a big food person
as well. No, I've been to Dubai, so I catch a drift. Like you feel like you're walking in a postcard. It's very surreal, right? Like you're like, it's like really this beautiful here. Like it like tastes that good. Like it's not an Instagram picture. Like this is real life.
I was enjoying myself thoroughly. I enjoyed myself, so it was amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, that's the most memorable.
Okay, perfect. And then. So music, performing, teaching, and then when did the kind of acting bug knock at the door?
I can remember the day, not like specifically, but I remember the phone call. It was just I was actually leaving the show, and then my manager that I had at the time, he just asked me like, "You ever thought about acting?" And I, you know, no, but he was like, "You should do it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Hey, great. I have this. I'm like, "Okay, you already had it lined up. You were just waiting for the guest." So, but it was student films. So I was doing a lot of student films. I was driving like an hour north of Miami to Palm Beach to work with some students. I was already out of school and everything. I wasn't even in college at the time. And no, was I in college? No, I was out of college. So yeah, so I had already graduated college, and I ended up meeting these students. Specifically, was Joey Ashley, and he's a director and writer, so he was just coming up with these short films, and I had never acted before, so it was just a great start to get my feet wet, and you know, to be on set and interact with people and know how long the days were going to be, because I didn't know, and it was something to just experience in itself. But that's when I just kind of bit the bug, you know, just kind of got bit by the bug. I was, it was like in 2012 was when I started. So I just really been chopping at the bit. I've done all the background work for, you know, stand-ins for TV shows and things of that nature. So I done kind of been through the ringer, and, you know, still grinding it out, but it's been very, it's been great lately for me.
Yeah, 100%. So talk to me about when you got that phone call for the audition for Queen and Slim.
Okay, that's to tell that story. It was like I had to backtrack because of how it was like divinely set. I'm really big on like manifesting and just kind of being in the right place at the right time and things of that nature. Because I actually I was in LA. I was in LA celebrating my birthday, but at the same time, I had a backpack full of headshots and resumes, and I was showing up to these. I was showing up to these agencies, and they're taking it, but they're really like, bro, like they're not really like, why are you showing up? Why are you doing this? But I didn't know any better, because I really was like, I'm very grassroots with my behavior when it comes to like work ethic and stuff like that. So I'm gonna knock on your door as opposed to just calling or some shit like that, especially if I want something. So I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna just show up. I said, who knows? There may be 100 people, and they might take one. Somebody might look at it and be like, okay, throw this guy an audition, see what he can do. Who knows? But I'm showing up to these agencies, and nothing was working out. I wouldn't care really. I was just throwing, I had work as well. I was out there performing poetry. So I had a couple of friends that had an audition. They had an interview with a particular agency that I was actually went to that I couldn't get inside. They had an interview there. They get the job, and I'm back in Miami after I leave LA. And then they called me like a month later. It was like, hey, I know you're doing the acting thing. We have an audition, we have a character that we've been pushing for this television show. The show was David Makes Man for Oprah Winfrey's on the OWN network.
Right.
So I auditioned for that, and I have like 3 auditions. I self-tape, and I fly myself to Atlanta and I audition for the producers, and then they fly me to LA, and then I audition for the studio, and then I'm like, then I don't get the role.
Oh.
I get back home, but that was my first like big audition. So for me, it was like, well, shit, that was great to get all that. So it was like, it is possible. So about like 3 weeks later, I get an email from the casting director that was the casting director for David Makes Man. She hits me up. She was like, I have a character that I want to audition for. I'm like, cool, shit, okay. I didn't think I was ever gonna hear from y'all again. She sends it to me. I audition for it. And like a week later, I get an email like, we want to do to audition for another character. So I auditioned for one character. I actually auditioned for 2 characters for Queen and Slim. Okay. Then I auditioned for the character that I received. About 2 days later, I get an email. It was like, we're waiting for approval because the director likes you. And that was Melina. Melina went ahead and just said, yeah, I want him. So like about a week later, I get a contract and everything. And they was telling me like, hey, we want you, we want to hire you for this character for Queen and Slim. And I was like, this is a movie. Like, this is movie. Melina, wait. And to see the script, I was like, oh, this is Lena Waithe. I was like, this is like real life. So I was nervous. Like I was instantly nervous. Like I was like, holy shit. Like this is really happening, bro. Like you about to be on a movie. Like I'm saying this all even by myself. Like I'm sitting in a room and I'm all by myself. And I'm like, this cannot be happening right now. Like I was like, nah. So I'm really, just to play it back in my head, I was really shocked. I was shook for a minute. I was like, this, like, all I needed was one yes. Like, that's all y'all needed was one yes. You know what I'm saying? So I, about a week later, I'm flying out to, I'm getting picked up in a private, with a private car, driver and stuff. I ain't never experienced any of that before. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like, all of this is really changed from what I'm used to versus what I'm, where I'm at right now. So I was like, okay, cool. So it was all an experience. I know it was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life. Like I've never been that nervous ever, like ever.
Never ever showed though. I mean, your character, I think we had an inkling of what he was gonna do and that he could be shady, but I think my heart sunk when I saw you drive off and I realized their fate. And I was like, oh my God, he really did it. He really did it.
Yeah, it was. And what's crazy? Like, for like, I was really like, for me, it was just like, oh, I got this role, cool. Granted, yeah, I know it's a movie, but I'm not knowing the magnitude of it all. Like, I'm really like, okay, cool. That's just, and then I'm like, okay, bam, I'm gonna get paid though. That's what I'm thinking. Like, that's really that's the level of the thinking that I was at. Like, I wasn't thinking about the character, the movie, the investment people were gonna have in the characters. And I knew what I was doing. And I was like, okay, cool, it's gonna happen. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just play it, And it was so weird because, like, I don't know, for like, when you're on set on a short film or something of that nature, when it's really like intimate and it's not like a big production, you have time to go over your lines and stuff like that. And I realized like it was great, because I was so nervous, I was like probably like over prepared, you know what I'm saying? So because I knew everyone's line from that, whatever I needed in that scene. I knew everyone's line. I knew when everyone was supposed to come in. But it was weird because on the spot, they didn't know, like, I had never like really had to move and act and do that, that type of, and interact and move. And, this is where she's directing me to grab and look. But you still have to deliver the lines. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I won't dare say, oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm like listening. Okay, I know how to listen, so I know how to be directed. I would just follow what she says and make it work. But it was dope to have Daniel and Jody, because they were like, you want to go over your lines? I was like, thank you, God. Like, that's all I needed to hear one time. Like, that was real human, like real down to earth, real level. Because I mean, at this point, this is the end of the film, and I'm really just meeting them. Like, I'm coming in like 2 months prior to. I'm in there for the last 2 months of shooting, so I'm really just meeting them. So they don't know me from a can of paint, but they were just that, just that cool, just that grounded to be like, yeah, let's do it, because they knew I was just coming in fresh, and no one dare said like, okay, I don't know my lines. I mean, that's fucking crazy. Like, why would you do that to yourself? But it worked. But luckily, the poetry, the memory, and all that, it just kind of once I know it and I know understand the situation, like, it really takes me no time to know what it is. At that point, it's just kind of just selling it. So being able to go back and forth with them and getting reactions and me leading in dialogue at, through those scenes, it was interesting, because I was really kind of taking it back, but I knew I was prepared. I was ready. It wasn't nothing too big. It was just new. And so I had to calm myself down and kind of slow everything down. So I kind of just took every time I had a chance to just, kind of digress and breathe. I kind of took that time, because it was important to me. Because then I didn't know, because like I said, with the short films, we shooting everything all at once if we can. Once I realized who was breaking this thing up and like singing, I was like, oh, so I don't really have to know all this. Like, now it was
you have that page.
That's the level. Like, that's what I know. I wasn't accustomed to that. Like, I wasn't used to that. I didn't know. So I was really like learning, and I was like really intrigued, and just everything was so new to me. So people ask me, like, how do you, like, I can hang around friends and stuff. I got all this going on. I have a whole lot going on, like really big things going on. But I'm at my local bar or whatnot, and I'm just chilling around. But people look like, bro, how do you? But that's the thing. I'm used to that. It's everything else that's happening that I'm not used to. So I'm adjusting to that. I can't adjust to what I'm, familiar with. So Queen of Snom really kind of put me in a space where it was like, okay, I exist, and to get I didn't have an agency then. Like, I had no management then. That was just all me. So to now have the agencies and the agents and the management and people behind me that really just like, okay, we believe in said talent. Let's work here.
That's awesome. God
feeling blessed. That's all. I'm in a blessed situation.
That's a blessing, and you should feel proud of that, because you knocked down the doors. You were resilient. You didn't take the no. Some people after that first no at their own network would have been like, oh, maybe this ain't for me, and got in their feelings. People are so sensitive these days.
Oh, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like, oh my God, it's like, wait a minute, like, this is that is even part of the divine journey, is to get no's, and then see how you bounce back, knowing that God's taking you in a different direction. That's just the way I think. I never really see a no as a no, it's a not yet, or it's an onwards. You have to remix things to make it make sense to you, Right. But I love that, and I love to hear that Daniel and Jody, who are national treasures here, obviously Daniel is like king of talent here, and Jody is a beautiful, stunning actress as well, and they're Black British, and we're so proud of the work that they're doing abroad and the doors that their visibility is opening up for us. So it's wonderful to hear that they were so genuine and cool on set. And so since then, we bucked up, because you're writing, and you're writing TV as well yourself. Right. Talk to me about your kind of writing process. How do you sort of set the mood? Because I've just written a book as part of a 3-pronged series about screenwriting. It is towards women, but anyone could read it and get some knowledge. But what's your sort of process? How do you find yourself writing?
It's all for me. I guess it's a mood. It's a feeling. I can't force it because like writing is very intricate and very detailed. So I try not. I definitely don't force it. So it's just I guess because it's different styles of writing. So if I'm writing poems, it's one type of thought, and then if I'm writing a screenplay, you know, then I'm thinking of like I can think of like a poem and put it in a script because I'm thinking of I like stories, you know, so I like things to build, you know, things to not be what it, you know, appears to be. So then it's just adding people and things like that. So it's weird because I don't process. It's probably just very simple things that kind of just gets me in the mood to where I need to write. And then it's at that point, it's kind of trial and error because like it's like on the simplest form, I can't write when it's like junky around me. Like everything has to be very clean. I can't write when it's like messy around me. Everything has to be in its place.
Wow.
And I have to, it has to be, and it can actually be loud. It don't have to be quiet. It doesn't have to be quiet, but it just has to be clean. You know, it's the weirdest thing.
No. That makes a lot of sense.
You know, once everything is clean, then it's like, okay, cool. Now I can write. Now I can build. Because at that point now it's just it's a matter of time. You know, it's just a matter of how long I plan on sitting in front of my laptop and trying to create something.
Do you play music, do you find, or music that?
Music is played sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes music is played. I have a playlist, and I'm a big R&B person, so it's weird.
That's why I was asking. I was like, I love my R&B and my soul. At one stage, I was getting into kind of like bossa nova because I just come back from Brazil, and I was like, oh, that kind of cafe music. It's such a nice vibe depending on the genre. Do you know what I mean that you're writing? Yeah. But R&B always comes up when I'm writing. I don't know why. It sets a pace for the writing. I don't know why.
I think it has a lot to do with, okay, like with R&B for me, it's like I can hear the words, I can hear what's being written. So it's like it kind of takes me somewhere. So especially with like older music, like I love soul and stuff like that. So that's what I grew up on. Like I have all my father passed, but I still have all his records and whatnot. So it's just to be able to hear the stories, like the stories from older songs are like the best, especially like country music. Do you like country music? I like country music.
I don't know it. You have to send me some pieces or something.
Like, country music is very like, because it's like, because they have great stories, you know what I'm saying? Like, granted,
I've heard.
They have the greatest stories to me. So I really like older music, especially like old blues and music too, because like they have some very
a lot of emotion in it, and it's a lot of honesty as well. Like a
lot of vulnerability too. Like, and that's a place where I struggle at. I'm not very vulnerable. You know, I've been trying to be in that space, especially when it comes to my art form. So, you know, in writing, you know, it helps, you know, and it just works because it's honest, you know. So I just try to, I've been trying anyway. I'm aware that I'm not in that space, but I've been trying to do
You're
better.
on your way. You're on your way.
Yeah.
Talk to me now about being on your way. When I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago, this wasn't public knowledge, but the show is out now, which is phenomenal. Yeah. And you've landed a role in PValley.
Yeah, that's the oh man. I just PValley was I ended up getting an audition with that, but I had never seen the show, but I had heard of it.
Have you seen the show?
So then I went to go watch the show before I even got the role.
Right.
And then I was like, oh, this is fucking great. Like, this is I was like, this show is amazing. So
I know.
Like, okay, cool. All right, let's work it. But I landed a character. I'm Jericho on season 2 of PValley. Yeah. It's crazy because I I've never been a big talker. I'm not a big talker, as you've seen in the Zoom like before. Like
the other day, you said 2 words, hi and goodbye.
Yeah, I'm not a big talker, but I'm like, yeah, I can't speak. But I didn't share, like I didn't tell anyone. I wasn't like, hey, y'all know me being season 2. Like it's just never been my thing. Like people didn't know I was going to Queen and Slim until they seen the preview at the BET Awards, and everyone was blowing my phone up. And I remember that night like it was yesterday. So today I wake up, I hadn't, because I didn't watch it because everyone, I guess people saw it early. I'm getting phone calls. I'm like, why do people hit my phone up? And it's like, bro, why you didn't tell nobody you in season 2? I was like, oh, hell, you telling me? Hell, I didn't know I was in episode 1.
Wow. So tell me about the character of Jericho. How did you prep for the character? What does he add to what is already an insanely sexy, graphic, raw? I was feeling so much like emotions watching season 1. I was angry. I don't know, slightly aroused. Like there's certain things about the show you're like, did I just hear that? Did I just see that? Like, what is this about? So tell me where season 2 is taking us and how Jericho fits into the puzzle.
Well, right now, season 2 is gonna take us. It's gonna be different because it's not probably what everyone is expecting it to be. And what's weird too is because, and I'm only basing that on what I know, because I only know probably like it's 10 episodes. I probably know 6 out of 10 like what's happening.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're not on everyone's set. Everyone has different times, so if you're not working with certain people at certain time, you actually don't know. So I too am going to see what's going on, but there's certain things that that's going to happen that I'm like, okay, that's a curveball, and it's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. It's going to be just as sexy and just as graphic and just as open as it was, in season 1, but very entertaining, and it's going to take you on an interesting ride. And Jericho is just going to add to the mix of it all, based on certain events that occur in it. And Jericho is which is weird because Jericho is like the strong silent type. His presence is
you could tap into your natural energy,
which is crazy because someone just hit me up because they was like, bro, now I'm just seeing you and doing X, Y, and Z. It's like, bro, you don't have to change your voice in anything. You're allowed to just be you. And it's crazy because at sometimes I used to think that, that I, while learning, I thought, maybe I need to change my voice up a couple of times for this character. But as I've learned, they was like, nah, they like really, it's like they sent you an audition, and if they want you for a character, they need you as you. They need you as is. Unless they told you different, no, we need you to stay where you are because that's what they want, So with my hair, I was just like, yeah, they're just gonna let it do what it do, and they're gonna twist it up or braid it down, which is great for me. I don't care. Like I don't. It's just a new thing. Like I just woke up one day, it's like, let me just not get a haircut anymore. Oh. And that's but yeah, Jericho is definitely new. He's Maine's right hand man. So if you remember Maine, so it's gonna be interesting because Murda and Jericho and crew, they're from different hoods.
Right, so, right.
Yeah, so they don't really get along because because of that, if anything. But it's gonna be interesting when y'all going for episode to episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into it because with shows like that, I can't really have like my 2 babies running around.
Yes, you can.
It's like a Sunday flex, like I tell my husband to take the kids to the park, and then I like watch my stuff, and I'm like, what? And like I have dialogue with myself, and then obviously because I am a creator, I'm like visualizing the script, and I'm like, you lot must have been like, juicy, like it's an actor's paradise, a script like that, and because you can watch it on Starz, you can stop, replay it. I'm like, busting up with laughter on certain things, you know, like, no, it's a beautiful show. So really, really well done to you. Congratulations, because it's so unique. I've never seen anything like it, even though it's got factions of so many other shows in it, in the sense of we've all seen the strip club film, we've all seen the hood film, we've all seen, or show, we've all seen, you know, struggling artists trying to make it. It blends a lot, you know, struggling families, this and that, black girls wanting to make it out of the hood. That we've seen that in different factions, but to bring it all together and have that as the epicenter, this strip club, and the threat of its closure.
Right.
And then how they club together to keep it alive, and the things that they're all personally going through. I think it's wonderful. So I look forward to watching you in that show. Bertrand, what else is coming up? What else can we, I know you're a quiet guy and you don't like to kind of talk up the things, as we would say in the UK. But, you know, when are you coming over? When can we see you in the flesh?
Well, we're trying to do some work. So, with the, so it's weird because a lot of people don't know I write as well. You know, for the most part, is because, you know, writing is like the quiet beast. So, you know, I've been writing a lot of scripts lately. Myself and my writing partner Donald, we've been doing a lot of creating. You know, so we're sitting on scripts. So we're sitting on a lot right now, a lot of ideas, and one in particular idea that we've been that's been brewing for us and growing greatly is Through the Pond. We're looking forward to making that work out there, if anything, because that is going to be. I'm very excited about that one. It has this down in the Abbey, the meets the wire type idea. And if you don't have, and it's crazy, if you don't know the wire, then it's like you would understand how polar opposites that is. So to have this idea that to have this idea that we want to have this guy coming from the States to go move with his affluent family, and they're into shit that he wasn't even expecting because of how they are presented, you know, to the world as being very, you know, besides being wealthy, being very influential, you know, to the community itself. So Through the Pond is definitely the project that we're looking forward to making work out there with you all. Because
it sounds like an amazing project. Obviously, I've had a look at the pitch deck, you know, show Bible with my executive producer hat on, and I think it's got massive legs. Naturally, once I read the pilot episode, I'll have a real sense of it. But that's what we do, you know, at Buff Studios. We package products. Can't say too much myself, but right. I've got 2 shows that are pretty much over the, you know, getting the green light. And that's a beautiful situation because the market is open, and I think post Cannes, everybody is looking for really unique projects. And what you've just described, you know, even though I've seen the deck, I'm still trying to get my head around it. And I think I will get my head around it once I read that pilot episode. You know, I really kind of fall in love with the characters. And I think that's what it is. A lot of people, if the deck is saleable, the characters are there, the cast are there, the script to the investors is secondary. It's all about the world. And if the world, you know, what you're doing is beautiful, because that's exactly where we are. We're thinking global. So bringing an American over to England, we all see us going over across to you guys. We want to see you guys here. You know, we love your accent, we love your swag, we love your style, we love that kind of entrepreneurial spirit that Americans naturally have. So bringing that kind of enterprise over here and seeing the twists and turns and having that kind of, you know, quintessential British edge to it as well, that's going to be a lot of elements to play with. So I really look forward to working with you on that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely been looking forward to that. So it's just something that's going to happen real soon, I feel. So it's just, I'm glad that it, you know, it's happening the way it is, because it's very organic. So I like, you know, when it's, you know, it feels genuine. So everyone feels like they have, great intentions and good energy and are looking forward to, making it possible. So I'm just taking a day at a time and looking forward to it.
That's beautiful. Well, Bertrand, thank you so much for your humility. Thank you so much for your time. As a ritual, before I let you go, we ask each of our guests to name one of your favorite songs from a film, so a soundtrack film from a film, and we will play it out to finish your interview. Can you think of any?
God, Lee, that's very that's so random.
I've had some real fun ones, but
that is so. Hold on. I'm thinking about some of my favorite films and scenes. Okay. I watch a lot of old movies. I love black cinema, like old black movies. Dead Presidents. So,
is Dead Presidents the name of the film, or the
name of the film is Dead Presidents?
I love that movie. All my heart.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the track?
The track is Sly and the Family Stone.
I love Sly. If you want me to stay, by Sly. If you want me to stay, get this. Oh, I love it. Sly and the Family Stone. If you want me to stay, Bertrand E Boyd the second. It's been a pleasure and an honor, bro. I look forward to working with you. Congratulations on your new role in PValley. Everybody go watch that on Starz right now. Get the app. And yeah, man, we look forward to following you on your beautiful journey, man. Well done to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Choice FM Screenlately show.
I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome.
Online, on Mixcloud, and on Twitch. From the nation's capital, this is Choice FM UK.